Dear friends of Powershoots TV, positive energy in Europe. Today I'm in the European Commission and it's really my great pleasure to welcome the Commissioner for Economic, Financial Affairs, Taxation, Customs, Pierre Moscovici. Welcome.
Bonjour. This will be the only word I will say in French, my native language.
So, first of all, please explain us what are you doing and how citizens in Europe benefit of your work.
I'm responsible for everything which is macroeconomic here, also budget surveillance, how the rules are implemented by our member states, also for the completion of the Economic and Monetary Union, for the European policy on taxation, especially the fight against tax fraud and tax avoidance. And I also represent the Commission in forums like the G20, G7, IMF, Eurogroup, ECOFIN, and finally I am the negotiator of the Commission for the Greek case, and it took me a lot of time, also energy, heart, soul.
For example, an example how a citizen now is, for example, benefiting of your work in the past.
Let's be modest, but when I look at our situation today, I see that Europe is out of the crisis, that growth is back, that we are creating hundreds of thousands of jobs in each of our countries, that public deficits are getting down, public debt is also diminishing. So now we're in a period of expansion. I wouldn't say the Commission created it alone, not at all, but we are part of it, certainly through our responsibilities to ensure macroeconomic stability. And this means for the people, jobs, jobs.
We are here because I'm always talking about positive news in Europe. We have very positive news. You worked a long time on it. I just give you a keyword, the beautiful country Greece. Please explain us what happened and where we are now.
For 8 years, Greece has been under assistance programs, financial assistance from the EU and also from the IMF. And at one moment, we faced the possibility that there would be a kind of Grexit, Greece exiting the Eurozone. We avoided that. And now, 3 years after the beginning of the last program for Greece, at last, at the last Eurogroup and ECOFIN, we decided that it's finished, it's over, and it's a success. Greece has benefited from tremendous help from its partners, something like 270 billion euros. Greece has made very tough reforms, but which were necessary to ensure that the country was competitive enough and that was credible enough. And now Greece is capable to move on its own 2 feet with a growth strategy which is Greek-owned, creating jobs and also ensuring social fairness. And so it was tough, it was painful, sometimes it was difficult. And we had some discussions with our German friends in particular. But it's done, and well, it's a great day for Europe. And it proves that you can get out of the crisis with responsibility and with solidarity.
But how long, I would say, now it's over, as you say, but how long it takes maybe that people in Greece will feel the difference?
First, they start to realize that the unemployment rate, which was 25%, is now 20%, probably under 20% by the end of the year. But I know that there was a lot of pain, sacrifices in Greece, and I think that now there is a capacity to have a growth strategy which will produce results, 2% this year and next year as a growth rate. And it's a country now where it's good to invest. And I will say to those who think about that, that's one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, with a lot of assets, with huge creativity from the people. Go there.
No, great. We're talking about another subject, taxation. In Europe, the tax we pay is different from each member state. Do you believe or do you think that one day we're going to have, for example, an equal tax in Europe, reminding also the e-commerce? And a second question directly, money. Do you believe or do you think that, for example, even the money in this digital smartphone world will disappear, or is it?
Well, money will always exist in digital and the rest. But for taxation, I'm afraid, and I don't want to lie to the people, even with some positive energy, we are not going to have tax harmonization immediately because it's a matter of sovereignty, because to decide that we need to be unanimous at 27, tomorrow 28 2 days, and it is very unlikely. And in the period we live, it's more unlikely than ever. But we are progressing. Yeah. We're progressing in fighting tax fraud and tax avoidance. We've made giant steps, and I'm very proud of that as a commissioner. And we are also progressing in creating tools for convergence. I would mention too, what we call common consolidated corporate tax base. There is a Franco-German project and a project from the Commission. That means that we have a harmonized base for the corporate taxation. Today, things are different in different countries, and this creates loopholes, this creates opportunity for aggressive tax planning. This will disappear, and it will be, I would say, also a basis for the rapprochement of our corporate taxation of all our companies across Europe. It will be a first step, not to harmonization, but to convergence. And the second thing is that we can also create common tools. I propose that there would be a digital taxation, as well for the medium to long run, what is called digital presence, how we can identify that. You spoke about iPhones, the number of clicks, the number of contracts, so that social networks, platforms could pay their fair share of tax. They don't today. We can establish that, but for that we need to have common will. I'm not a tax and spend guy, but I think that when multinationals don't pay their fair share of tax where they create value and profit, if this is unfair, and just for fairness, we must do that.
Yeah, because I mean, the citizen, he can do anyway nothing, I would say, or can he do anything?
The thing is, the citizen must push. I was saying that we made a huge progress on fighting tax fraud and tax avoidance. Why? First, because the mood changed internationally with the OECD work, the G20 work, but also because of the scandals which appeared through journalists, the international consortium of journalists, LuxLeaks, SwixLeaks, Panama Papers, Bahama Leaks, so on and so forth. And something has happened, the creation of a kind of international public opinion, calling those who are the decision makers. You cannot stay where you are. You cannot stay with your egoism. Yeah. You need to fight that, and you need to ask for multinationals to pay. And this is a citizen initiative. Without that political support, I could have done nothing. We could have done nothing.
Oh, I understand. Complete other subject, the future of Europe. So you're a long time in the politics, past, present, future. How do you think looks the future of Europe? Or
we have matters to worry. Let's be clear. When I see populism growing almost everywhere, nationalism coming in Europe, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, I'm worried about the state of Europe. And I see that anti-European forces are certainly growing today. And that is a matter of preoccupation. And this is why I call for those who feel that Europe is not a problem, but a solution, or at least a part of the solution, to fight for what they believe in. There are European elections in less than a year now. Yeah. I hope that the pro-Europeans, whether they're from the right, center-left, left, center, they will fight for their own ideas, and they will tell, no, the populists are wrong. In our countries, it's not Madame Le Pen or the AfD who are right. They don't propose solutions. They just try to prosper on fears. We must prove that Europe is capable to protect, that Europe is capable to emancipate, that Europe is also capable of creating fairness and social justice, and that we can, we mentioned that about Greece, have at the same time responsibility. Yes, we must be very credible in our public policies, but also solidarity, which means that those who have more can also be, in solidarity with those who have less.
Yes. The last question is not to the Commissioner, it's more to the citizen, Pierre. What do you still want to achieve in your life, private or in politics?
Well, I'm 60 now, which is time for experience, but not a time to retire. So I don't know precisely what will be my next life professionally. There will be one. And my life will be between my passions of all my life.
What is the passion?
I'm a Frenchman, and I love my country, and I think I can serve it. I'm a European, a passionate European. I've served Europe for more than 25 years. I can still be useful. And I'm also a guy, a social democrat with convictions, political convictions, from the left, or I would say from the center left. And certainly what I will do in the future will be between that, or with all of that. And personally, well, I'm a happy man because at an age where people are usually grandfathers, I became a father 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And this is why I need to demonstrate to my child that we can create a better world, that we can create a better Europe, and that he will grow in this continent, which is wonderful, which has values which are fantastic. We have got something to propose to the world. Yeah. We're not Mr. Putin's Russia. We're not Mr. Xi China. We're not Mr. Trump's America. We are a continent with very strong democratic values, where we favor also gender equality. We fight death penalty. We have a social model, and this is worthwhile. Not only defending it, but promoting it. And so that's why, professionally and personally, I will stay European. For my fellow citizens and for my child.
Great. I could not end better. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for your positive energy in Europe.
Thank you.
And for the citizens. Also, you outside, thanks much for listening. Yes, Europe is a challenge, but it's a very positive project. I would like to thank also everybody that I could do a recording here. I was fighting very hard to do that, as you were fighting a very long time for Greece. But at the end of all, yes, we are proud to be Europeans, and the only message I always give is stay positive and share your positive energy in Europe. Share it to other people, and you will see many doors will open. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.